And kindly put your mobile phones on silent mode. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly take your seats. Kindly take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. And may I once again request you to kindly put your mobiles on silent mode. Kindly put your mobile phones on silent mode. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, all our honored guests have arrived at this venue. They will be arriving in this hall in just a few moments from now. Kindly take your seats. Thank you. Good morning, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the inaugural session of the Nadi Conclave 2022, organized by Asian Confluence in collaboration with the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, and the Government of Assam. This is the third Nadi conclave organized by Asian Confluence. The Asian Confluence is a unit of Divya Jeevan Foundation with the aim to promote an open space for cultural and intellectual exchange. From the beginning of human history, we have gathered around rivers to make use of their natural resources, and it can be argued that in many cases, rivers give us the ability to grow as a civilization. Even today, it is surprising just how much we still rely on rivers
Participants, ladies
to
and gentlemen.
support our livelihoods and economies. Rivers connect lands, people, ideas, and foster trade and commerce. They inspire people to connect to higher values of caring and sharing beyond boundaries. Complementing the Act East policy of the Government of India, the Asian Confluence, as a part of its third space initiative of facilitating people-to-people linkages between India and her immediate and extending neighboring countries in the East, has conceived of this annual Asian Confluence River Conclave titled Nadi. The Nadi Conclave highlights the common destiny shared by Northeast India and her neighbors, dictated by a common geography, common history, and a common cultural thread that can build bonds of trust and friendship at a people level and create borders of prosperity. This year is significant in many respects. This year, we celebrate 75 years of India's independence, 30 years of India-ASEAN relationship, 25 years of BIMSTEC, and completion of 50 years of Bangladesh. We are honored to have with us as our chief guest, Dr. S. Jaishankar, Honorable Minister for External Affairs, Government of India. His Excellency, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh. Dr. Hemanta Biswa Sharma, Honorable Chief Minister of Assam. His Excellency Mr. Vijayawat Isra Bhakti, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs, Kingdom of Thailand, will be joining us through a video message. His Excellency Mr. Ung Chon, Ambassador of Cambodia to India. Shri Chandra Mohan Patowari, Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry and Act East Affairs, Government of Assam. His Excellency Mr. Simon Wang, High Commissioner of Singapore to India. Mr. M.P. Bezwarwa, Chairman, Governing Council, Asian Confluence, and Mr. Sabyasachi Datta, Executive Director, Asian Confluence. We begin by observing 1 minute of silence to honor our rivers. Thank you. In India, we have an old saying, Atithi Devo Bhava, which means that for us, guests are like gods. And we would like to welcome our honored guests on stage. May I request Mr. Sabyasachi Datta, Executive Director, Asian Confluence, Mr. M.P. Bezbarwa, Chairman of Asian Confluence Governing Council, and Shri Manvinder Singh, Secretary Government of Assam, to felicitate our honored guests. I request Shri Bezbarwaji to kindly felicitate Dr. S. Jaishankar, Honorable Minister of External Affairs, Government of India. Dr. Hemanta Biswa Sharma, Honorable Chief Minister of Assam. I request Mr. Sabyasachi Datta to kindly felicitate His Excellency Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh. I request Sri Manavendra Singh, Secretary, Government of Assam, to kindly felicitate His Excellency Mr. Ung Chon, Ambassador of Cambodia to India. His Excellency Mr. Simon Wong, High Commissioner of Singapore to India. Shri Chandramohan Patowary, Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry and Act East Affairs, Government of Assam. I request our Chief Guest, Dr. S. Jaishankar, Honorable Minister for External Affairs, Government of India, to kindly light the ceremonial lamp and inaugurate the two-day NADI 2022. And I request our distinguished guests on the dais to kindly join in the lamp lighting ceremony. I request Shri Chandramohan Patowary, Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry and Act East Affairs, Government of Assam, to kindly render the welcome address.
Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, Honorable External Affairs Ministers of India, Honorable Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, His Excellency the High Commissioner of Singapore, His Excellency the Ambassador of Cambodia, His Sri Madan Bezburwa, former Secretary Government of India, and my old friend, very good friend of mine, Sri Madan Bezburwa, Sri Sabyasachi Datta, and Excellencies, ambassadors from different countries, Excellencies, High Commissioner from different countries, and ladies and gentlemen, and media friends. So first of all, I would like to welcome our most visionary External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankarji to this conclave, and I welcome His Excellency, the Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen. I welcome Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, and I welcome His Excellency, the High Commissioner of Singapore, Ambassador of Cambodia to India, and I welcome all ambassadors and high commissioners from different countries. I welcome all the participants, industry leaders, students, and youth participating in this conclave. So I'll not take much of our time, and it is, I considered myself privileged to welcome you all to this unique two-day River Conclave, NADI, the Actis Policy Affairs Department, in organizing in association with ASEAN Conclave and the Ministry of External Affairs. This is in fact the third edition of exercise after ASEAN Conclave held its inaugural NADI conclave in Shillong in 2016 and its second edition even in Dhaka 2017. India's northeastern states and her immediate easterns neighbors Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Myanmar, and China, and extended neighbors in the Bay of Bengal together comprises the geographically compact region connected South and Southeast Asia. But what used to be the barriers impending connectivity and human exchange in the past, today, today stand out as windows of opportunities to in current scenario. These are indeed our rivers, which we call Nadi in many languages, including Assamese, Bengali, and Hindi. Rivers over the over the continuum of time, ranging from the immemorial, have in fact woven together a rich, a rich tapestry of rich culture, lifestyle, and our old traditions. It is the it is in this context I must congratulate Asian Conclave, who is organizing this event. So the contiguity of the river basins is the best with the both challenges and prospects. In fact, many of our rivers are intertwined. The best example is of our Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Barak river. Ganga bifurcates into Hooghly and Padma. Brahmaputra falls into Padma. Barak also bifurcates into Surma and Kushiara. Only the recombine as Meghna Padma interestingly falls into Meghna, and eventually all these rivers fan out in, in the form of the host of the distributaries in the Sundarban Delta. What our shared riverine heritage tells us that although uh, on account of the various factors we may have balkanized and emerged as a separate countries, yet will have conjoined with an invisible thread. with our rivers as a background to remain us as our goal. It is the time put our words into action. We have looked east more than enough. As our Honorable Prime Minister says, we now need to act as well. It is the time to brainstorm and tackle each and every issues across the board. The need of the hour, confluence building among states of the northeast and northeast, and then carries forward through the Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Thailand. I am really sanguine that Nadi conclave shall emerge and as the medium of change. The greater region cries to create the connectivity, greater trade, commerce, and the sport of travel and tourism. The context, I believe, that the various sessions of our event shall soon pick up the common thread to strategize the path ahead. The presence of the government officials, academicians, and traders and business leaders shall definitely help in a magnificent dialogue to take the things forward. And apart from this river connectivity, so under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, so we develop the connectivity of roads and railways also, because our Prime Minister, he always given trust on four ways: roadways, airways, highways, waterways, and highways. So under the bold and visionary leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, our infrastructure, the number one road, it is up to the mark. And number two, the railway is also up to the mark. Doubling railway and electric railway started in Assam. And third is the airways. So we are developing our airways connectivities. So immediately, not immediately, within very short time, we will be connected with the 6 ASEAN countries from Guwahati under international URAN scheme. And apart from that, we develop our airports also. Now, second terminal is coming up in Guwahati, and the third is the waterways. So waterways, we extend our heartiest thanks to our Honorable Prime Minister for the protocol signed with Bangladesh, and we are getting access to Mongla and Chittagong port today, and through which, again, Assam is connected with the ocean and our river route. For developing our river route, already Barak River is fully dredged, and Brahmaputra River is under dredging, and IWAI, Government of India, is dredging River Brahmaputra. And apart from that, we have got 15 national waterways in Assam. So out of 15 national waterways in Assam, so Barak is already dredged, I mentioned, and Brahmaputra is dredging. And this time we have made a proposal to Government of India so that our other remaining 13 rivers also to be dredged. So that proposal we have given from our government, and we are sharing actually 10% of the total water of our country. Assam has many rivers, so that way we are making our waterways comfortable for the business and the trade and commerce. So that way we are developing our Pandu ports. We are constructing multimodal logistic park at Jogighopa, and another park, multimodal logistic park, will be there at Silchar. And the Jogighopa multimodal logistic park is the first that sort of park, multimodal logistic park in the country. This is the first. It is under construction. So that way our connectivity and our highways, the fifth connectivity. So we are getting now connection from Chennai and Mumbai. So in this room, actually we had Indo-Bangladesh summit. So that time we requested Bangladesh government to give connection from Cox's Bazar, IT connection from Cox's Bazar to Assam. So Indian Railway also probably taking up this matter with the help of MEA to get the connection optical fiber through optical fibers from Cox's Bazar to Assam and northeastern region. Then our IT, our highways also will be very fast. Our internet will be very fast. So this is all happens because of the dynamic leadership and the visionary leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, Dr. Hemanta Biswa Sarma ji. So I sincerely and honestly thank him. And again, I welcome all who are participating in this event. So with these few words, I conclude my speech. Thank you.
Thank you. And I request Mr. MP Bezbarwa, Chairman, Governing Council, Asian Confluence, to kindly make the opening notes of NADI 2022.
His Excellency, respected Minister for External Affairs, Sri Jaisankarji, His Excellency Abdul Momen, Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, respected Chief Minister Dr. Hemanta Biswa Sarma, His Excellency Ung Shin, and His Excellency Mr. Wong, respected Sri Patwari, Saibadatta, Executive Director, Asian Confluence, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my friends from Government of Assam, including Chief Secretary Sri Jishnu Borua, and the members of the Governing Council of Asian Confluence, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I feel privileged to have this opportunity to add my welcome, as well as from the Asian Confluence, to all of you to the historic city of Guwahati, on the banks of the mighty Brahmaputra. Just a stone's throw away from this place where we are sitting is the place called Saraighat, where our immortal General Lachit Borphukan fought that epic battle against the Mughals. And his thundering statement that my country is greater than my uncle still inspires and enthuse the people of the Northeast. It is symbolic that the third Nadi festival is taking place on the banks of the Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra is the lifeline of the Northeast. It has flown down with history, nurtured cultures, nourished lives and livelihood, and above all, has brought people, communities, and cultures closer. The concept of Nadi and the ethos of the Asian Confluence, in fact, blends with this spirit of growing together by getting together. Asian Confluence seeks to give voice to the third space, the people, in shaping policies that affect their lives. We believe in the economic force of the people-to-people contact and try to build inclusive growth in collaboration strengthened by positives of shared history, geographical and cultural links, and understanding. Northeast is the focus of Asian Confluence. And the river, the Old Man River as we call it, keeps rolling by, telling us that in harmony with nature, in sustainable livelihood is our future. We are very much enthused and encouraged by the response to the first two Nadi festivals and a resounding support we received from everyone. Unfortunately, the pandemic disrupted that flow, and we are getting here today again to continue that good beginning for a new future in the Northeast and in the Indo-Pacific region. While in India, we are celebrating now the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and gather here to talk of a future we can make for the Northeast and make Northeast future ready. It would be pertinent to go back a little in history to talk about the facts which are well known. This region has got 52% of the forest cover, 1/5 of the country's petroleum-related gas and hydrocarbon, 40% of the national hydropower potential, 34% of the country's water resources, 60% of tea, unique biodiversity hotspots, flora, fauna, and the list can go on. It's not for me today to list all that. All that has made that region high up in the national economic scale at the time of independence. But the economic effects of the partition put the region in what the Northeastern Council report, one report says, in economic imprisonment within its borders, putting the development clock back by a quarter of a century. Northeast slipped down in national rankings. And Luki's policy, now activist policy, instilled hopes and great expectations of a new economic opportunities in looking to the happening East. Our Prime Minister, and for that matter, every Prime Minister has been describing Northeast as the arrowhead of activist policy. We say Southeast ends where Northeast begins. One Chief Minister had very famously explained earlier that we want our borders to be borders of peace and prosperity, not of insurgency and drugs. Leader Minister, External Affairs, Government of India, Sri Mukherjee had said in Shillong that geography need not be an obstacle, it can be an opportunity. Through NADI, Asian Confluence is trying to explore that opportunity, keeping the fears of periphery behind us. In the last decade, the results of activist policy initiatives have been encouraging for the Northeast. Border huts and informal border trades have revived the rural economies in the border areas. Impressive progress have been made in starting physical communication that has opened up opportunities for the Northeast through roads, as has been explained by Sri Patwari, roads, rail, waterways, ports, opening to the sea and concerning the sea, etc. The economic impact is likely to be enormous in the coming days, taking Northeast out of its constraints. But as is often said, the communication corridor has now to be transformed into economic corridors. There is much to be done. Trade and investment potentials have not been tapped to the fullest potential. And this is what NADI3 is a step in taking up that exercise, what needs to be done and how it can be done. And the opportunities are immense and are well known, and I don't intend to go in because the next 2 days we will be going into all those opportunities and the possibilities. 3 centuries back, one poet, Mullah Darwish, who had accompanied the invading Mughal army, had described this land as this land is like no other land. That uniqueness, that unique experience is what the new age tourist is looking for. And as the Prime Minister had described, tourism can be a foundation for development and it can be a catalyst for development in the Northeast. We can talk about horticulture as a game changer. We can talk about the gas cracking project downstreams, which are waiting to be exploited and to the fullest potential. And all that will be discussed in the next possible 2 days. And I hope we will explore the possibilities. We are grateful to you, Sri Jaisankarji, for your personal support and encouragement and leadership in expanding the horizon of economic diplomacy to carve out meaningful collaborations and cooperation that can change the face of the Northeast. You give a great message, and we look forward to you to carry forward the outcome of this NADI conference to meaningful action. Thank you and your ministry for making NADI3 possible. And Sir Chief Minister, respected Sri Sharma, we have no words to thank you for your dynamic push which made NADI3 a reality. You have now to provide the leadership to ensure that looking east really becomes acting east. We are grateful to you, and the Northeast means a lot of hope on you for its resurgence, and Asian Confluence, your foot soldier, will always be there whenever you need us. We also recognize the presence of excellencies and dignitaries from South Asia and Southeast Asia who have made NADI3 a possibility. Your presence is important here, both in symbol as well as in substance. It is a signal, it signals endorsement and a shared belief in our common future, a willingness to join in the journey and to explore the road for greater good or the greater numbers. Thank you all for your company here, and we hope to have you with our journey as we go along. As we look forward to the deliberations, I personally feel a sense of urgency in the Northeast on Act East and its development. And I remember the words of Albert Camus, the philosopher. I shall tell you a secret, my friend. Don't wait for the day of judgment. It takes place every day. I wish you all the best in these coming days. Thank you very much.
Thank you. ASEAN region is the land of many rivers. The Mekong, for instance, has been a great example of regional cooperation and has had a great impact on the economy of the ASEAN region. There can be many sharings on this. As India and the ASEAN engage further, we now request brief messages from His Excellency Mr. Simon Wang, who is the ASEAN Coordinator for India, and His Excellency Mr. Ung Chuan. I first invite His Excellency Mr. Simon Wang, High Commissioner of Singapore, which is the India Coordinator for ASEAN, for his special address.
Namaskar. Honorable External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar, Honorable Foreign Minister Dr. Momen, Honorable Chief Minister Dr. Sharma, Honorable Chairman of the conference, Dr. Bijorab, my fellow colleagues on the podium, and my fellow ASEAN colleagues who are seated below on the stage, my fellow diplomatic colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. First of all, before I start my remarks, I would like very much to call upon my ASEAN colleagues who are here in full force to lend support not only to the Northeast, to India, and also to the NADI 3.0 conference. Colleagues, may I ask you to stand up and show your presence. We would like to thank very much the key driver of this event, the Ministry of External Affairs, without whom we would not have recognized the potential of the Northeast and the potential of collaboration in the NADI sub-region. One of the chief architect of this drive for Southeast Asia to engage more to the Northeast and also to South Asia is the former Secretary East, Madam Ganguly Das. Could you stand up, please? Ma'am, because of you, we are here. Let me begin by saying that if you search Google heat map on economics, what would you find? The biggest search result as of now, post-COVID, is India. India's rise and India's strong presence on the economic map is undeniable. If you look at the just concluded Davos meeting, the booth of India is crowded with investors, all wanting an opportunity here in India. India's economic growth this year and the next will be the highest in the world. Its presence in world economy is undeniable. If I push the lens eastward in the BBN region, the star of South Asia is Bangladesh. Not only has Bangladesh economy been on the rise. The level of foreign investment to Bangladesh is also on the increase. I'm happy to note, Minister Momen, you have just visited Singapore in April. There is an ambition for Singapore and also for ASEAN countries to invest more in Bangladesh. We are now, as a group, ASEAN country, your third largest trading partner and your second largest investor. Also, in ASEAN, post-pandemic, the economic recovery of ASEAN has been on the rise. Again, if you look at the heat map, the biggest investments coming into ASEAN countries in general are on the rise. But 3 key countries are on the heat map. In order of number of investments coming in the past 2 years, Vietnam, Indonesia, and the Philippines. With a mature economy, Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand also on the list. The reason why I'm mapping out these 3 regions is because you have 3 strong verticals, 3 strong economies. How then do we look at the horizontal linkage in the sub-region? Starting from the northeast and the hub being Assam. Dr. Sharma, you are one of the arrowhead for this growth, leading towards South Asia through Bangladesh and perhaps through the land bridge of India, Thailand, and Myanmar, leading to Southeast Asia. If I look at economic data, yesterday at the conclave between in the Northeast and ASEAN countries, I gave the figure, India-ASEAN trade, total trade is now over $100 billion. Our service trade is about $50 billion. Our total ASEAN commitment to investment commitment to India is close to $120 billion US dollars. The total investment of Indian business to ASEAN is $110 billion. If you look at that potential, it is immense. If I add in the BBN countries, you are looking at close to $200 billion of trade and close to $150 billion of investment. With that in mind, we can see the potential of developing the Northeast, going through the South Asian countries, in particular Bangladesh, into South Asia. If I narrow down some more to look at connectivity, commerce, and also cultural exchanges, the numbers become interesting. Interesting in the sense that if I look at trade flow from India through the Northeast to Southeast Asia, as a total percentage, it is less than 2%. In the eyes of investors like Singapore, in the eyes of investors like Japan, who's also in the audience, it means potential for great growth. What do we have in mind? I speak on behalf of Singapore. There are 3 key areas we think that are of great potential to us, and I think also our Japanese colleagues are looking at it. First is the development of skills and the development of talent in the region. We are very happy that we have collaborated very, very early with Assam State on the skills center, world-class skills centers, starting from 2018. It was inaugurated in 2019. Our ASEAN colleagues and myself had the pleasure of visiting it yesterday. It is a world-class skills center whereby 100% of all students graduate with jobs. So, in order to bring the ambition higher, as suggested and directed by His Excellency Dr. Sharma, we are now looking at the project of upgrading these skill center to a skill university. So I'm proud to announce that we will collaborate with the state of Assam to develop the skills university. Beyond universities of skill, whereby the aspiration of a very young population in Assam, many of whom are below 21 years old, is to give them a sense of place and a sense of belonging to the Northeast, and also contributing to the growth of regional growth and also their personal career. So again, talent development, we think, is very, very important. In celebrating the 50th year of diplomatic relationship between Singapore and Bangladesh, we have also committed to build a skills center in Bangladesh. So again, we see that movement in training of people. Second, our proposal to the Northeast and in particular Assam is to look at the smart logistics. You will have your highways ready, you will have your airports ready, and you have your railway lines ready. How do you then integrate yourself in the supply chain? So I was happy to announce yesterday that Singapore government linked company will invest in a 60-acre plot in Guwahati as the smart logistics center as a start. Logistics play a very, very important role in navigating what kind of goods will travel between the sub-region. It is very, very important to anchor not only make in India, make in Bangladesh, and make in ASEAN, integrating it as a whole. But we feel that there must be niche sectors that we can look into. So again, in my third announcement yesterday was to collaborate with state of Assam to do a master planning of Guwahati city. We plan to use this as a node to grow Northeast Asia, linking it with a new development that's happening between ASEAN and Bangladesh. We have announced in April that Singapore will commence FTA negotiations with Bangladesh bilaterally with a view of going into a deeper ASEAN-Bangladesh FTA. We hope that will drive trade even more. I would like to just conclude by, again, zooming back into Assam. There is a famous athlete in Assam. Her name is Madam Hima Das. She's the fastest woman in India, and she's known to be the Indian Express. I hope through this NADI 3.0 conference, we can look into not only an Assam Express, a Northeast Express, an Indian Express, but a sub-regional express. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. I now request His Excellency Mr. Ung Seon, Ambassador of Cambodia to India, to kindly render the special address to NADI from the ASEAN.
Namaste. A very good morning for everybody. Excellency Dr. Jayantka, Minister of External Affairs of India, Excellency Dr. Abdul Momen, Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, Excellency Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, Chief Minister of Assam, dear colleagues from ASEAN country, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear participants. First of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks and appreciation to the government of Assam and the ASEAN Confluence for inviting me and my colleagues from ASEAN to this important event. It is in my privilege and honor to be present here for the NADI3 Asian Confluence River Conclave 2022 today. At the outset, I would like to commend the ASEAN Confluence for initiating this NADI Conclave, which allow experts and prominent speakers to share views on how to enhance cooperation in the region along Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Mekong River. Indeed, this region has similarity in terms of ethnic and culture. Therefore, it is important to explore possible way to elevate cooperation in the region of Eastern South Asia and Southeast Asia. I am of the view that one of the aspects for closer cooperation is people-to-people contact. Northeast India and ASEAN have deep cultural and ethnic ties. To make better understanding among people in the region, we should organize culture exchange, study exchange, and other related activities. This will strengthen understanding among people in the region. Tourist link is also an important factor for connecting the region. The unique of Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh and mountainous area of Northeast India can be promoted for tourists from Southeast Asian nation. Other important aspect is connectivity. Without direct flight and road connection, sea connection between the two regions will make it difficult for trade, tourism, and people-to-people contact. Increase of direct flight is beneficial for connecting the two regions. For Northeast of India, our Thai colleague said yesterday that several Thai airlines will operate flights from Bangkok to Guwahati by the end of the year. This is a good news as it helps connect Thai neighboring country to Assam as well. I am glad to hear that India, Myanmar, Thailand trilateral highway will be complete in the next few years. Upon completion of this highway, will help enhance Northeast India's role as a gateway to Asia. Maybe you all are aware that a river help connect through flow across boundary. In Southeast Asia, we have Mekong Commission, River Commission, MRC. And between India and Southeast Asia, we have Mekong Ganga Cooperation. So I would like to end my remark by wishing the event fruitful during the deliberation in this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And I request Dr. Hemanta Biswa Sharma, Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, to kindly render the opening address.
His Excellency Dr. S. Jaishankar, Honorable Minister for External Affairs, Government of India, His Excellency Dr. A.K. Abdul Momin, Honorable Foreign Minister, Bangladesh, His Excellency Mr. Simon Wong, High Commissioner of Singapore to India, His Excellency Mr. Ung Sim, Ambassador of Cambodia to India, my colleague Sri Chandramohan Patwari, Sri MP Besborua, Member Governing Council ASEAN Confluence, Saibasasi Datta, Executive Director ASEAN Confluence, His Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners from Bangladesh and ASEAN countries, representing officers from Ministry of External Affairs, government officials, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to be present amidst this august gathering at the Nodi Conclave here today. I congratulate the organizer, ASEAN Confluence, for this remarkable initiative that brings together policymakers, scientists, international organizations, civil society, trade bodies, and academia to brainstorm on the common challenges to foster regional cooperation for sustainable development. I also take this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to Sri Dr. S. Jaishankar, Honorable Minister for External Affairs, Government of India. Sir, we are always blessed by your cooperation, and I am extremely lucky and fortunate for the kind of help, kind of assistance you are always offering to State of Assam. A warm welcome to you. I also welcome Honorable Foreign Affairs Minister of Bangladesh, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momin, His Excellency High Commissioner of Singapore to India, Mr. Simon Wong, His Excellency Ambassador of Cambodia to India, Mr. Ung Sim, and other dignitaries to our beautiful state. This conference is also about our shared civilization, culture, and historic linkage. India has always shared ancient civilizational linkage with the countries in the region of East and Southeast Asia. Yet we feel proud to state that the strongest of this link have passed through Assam and Northeast. Our state, along with the other northeastern states, not only provide the only land link between the India and ASEAN bloc of countries, but has also been the civilizational and cultural bridge connecting Southeast Asia with South Asia. There are immense historical, cultural, and social economic ties between northeastern part of India and Southeast Asian nation. The great King Saulung Sukapha, who set up the foundation of the great Ahom Empire, came from Yunnan. He traveled through Thailand and Myanmar before crossing over the Patka Hills to present-day Assam. The Ahom kingdom founded by him not only united all communities and tribes of Assam, but also synthesized the rich Thai and Aryan culture to create what we know as Assamese society today. Therefore, we can find variants of Assamese Japi and Assamese Horai all across Southeast Asia. Even our Bihu dance, which we have witnessed yesterday, has its imprints in the San and other Thai communities living in and around Burma, Thailand, and Laos. The common physical feature, similarities in art forms, social structure, eating habits, weaving designs, and cultural practice put the Northeast region in a favorable position with Southeast Asian nations. You will be delighted to know that Northeast India was on the southwestern track of the ancient Silk Route, through which there were trade connections between the ancient Kamrup, as Assam we known then, and southwest China and India. This was in existence in the 2nd century BC. The road which connects India with China, Tibet and Burma, or present-day Myanmar, was through Assam. The traders trade on items like silk, pearls, cowries, mugs, cotton fabrics, China ware, lead, copper, silver, etc. From Chinese traveler Yuan Shang's record in the 7th century, it can be learned that southwest border of China were distance of less than 2 months journey from Kamrup. This was possible because of the porous boundary of Assam. Long-distance caravans by some enterprising merchants and movement of Buddhist pilgrims along this road was also popular. Assam was considered as the eastern gateway for the passage of people, goods, and ideas, and these happened between India, Burma, and China. Bhaskar Burma, who was the greatest ruler of ancient Kamrup, encouraged Sino-Indian cooperation in commerce and culture. The Tabaki Nasiri in the 13th century mentioned about 35 mountain roads between Kamrup and Tibet. The report of Kiatan mentioned that a trade road existed from Vietnam to Kamrup. According to Tavernier, a 17th century French traveler, La was exported. Shellac was exported to China and Japan with cinnamon, and bay leaf were brought into Assam from China. In case of Assam, another very popular trade route was the Patkai Road, which sailed from Jaipur in Upper Assam and reached up to Irrawaddy in Myanmar. According to renowned historian Dr. H.K. Borpujari, the Missimis carried on barter trade with Kachin and the Chinese through this road. Assam was at the forefront of international trade prior to 1947 with roads, railways, riverine transport networks connecting us to the ports in the Bay of Bengal and Myanmar. The Dibrugarh-Chattogram Rail Connect was one of the earliest projects implemented by the British in India in late 19th century. But partition of India cut off Assam and the rest of northeastern state from our neighbors and link us to other parts of the country by only a narrow corridor. These 70 years after independence witnessed the closure of many natural transportational roads and limited market access. But since 2014, under the dynamic and visionary leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, the northeastern region has witnessed rapid transformation. Honorable Modi ji, whose aim is to act and act fast for India's northeast, gives new hope, energy, and force to our people to give a paradigm shift to develop in terms of connectivity, infrastructure, economy, and other sectors. I must mention that our Honorable Prime Minister has taken the central government to the doorstep of the Northeast India with numbers of development projects. Honorable Modi ji has termed the Northeast India as the new engine of growth. We shared a strong vision of Honorable Prime Minister that the region is the sunrise area of Indian economy. The Northeast is not just a part of developing nation called India. It is in the middle of the fastest emerging nations of Southeast Asia and has the potential to become the link for the emergence of trade and commerce with this nation. Our government therefore is working to position Assam as the gateway and the expressway to ASEAN and other Southeast Asian countries. We are working hard to make Assam the industrial hub from which we can service not only the region, but also we can cater various requirements for the BB and Asian countries, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Nepal. We understand to realize this avowed goal, there is a need to leverage the unique locational advantage of Assam and the rest of Northeast. So far as Southeast Asia is concerned, we have no less than 5,300 kilometers of international borders with a host of countries like Myanmar, China, Bhutan, Nepal, and Bangladesh. The Northeast is truly India's gateway to Southeast Asia, and I believe the emerging connectivity with the ASEAN nation will play a defining role in enhancing our shared prosperity. As this conclave is being organized aiming at boosting sub-regional cooperation in the Bay of Bengal region and with Southeast Asia, I would like to underscore some of the vital areas of Assam economy where we can collaborate for shared growth and prosperity. Assam is the largest economy in the Northeast region, and due to our proximity with the rest of India and availability of quality infrastructure, we offer best opportunity and environment for industrial growth. However, agriculture still accounts for more than a third of our state economy. The state produces significant quantity of food grain, fruits, and spices like ginger and turmeric. Our farmers have exported red bow rice grain, mango, jackfruits, vegetable, lemon, ginger, chili, etc. to UK, European Union, and other countries. We are promoting natural farming, which is based on production of natural cow-based fertilizer and pesticides. This approach is climate-friendly and highly sustainable as it eliminates the requirement of chemical fertilizer. In line with the UN resolution of UN General Assembly, our government is committed to observe 2023 as the International Year of Millet in true letter and spirit. Accordingly, the state has taken up a number of initiatives, including Assam Millet Mission. This mission will be taken up in cluster and value chain approach, addressing not only the production gaps, but also post-harvest value addition and nutrition-related aspect. Another important contributor to the economy of the state is forest. There are a large variety of forest type from the evergreen rainforest to riparian forest and freshwater mangroves. The state has 312 notified reserve forests, 5 national parks, and 20 wildlife sanctuaries. The forest cover, including trees outside the forest, in Assam is more than 37% of the total geographical area of the state. Assam, that falls in the eastern Himalayan biodiversity region, is one of the biodiversity hotspots in the country. We have 293 orchid species, which is 1/4 of the country's orchid diversity, 42 species of bamboos, 14 species of can, beside multitude of aquatic and forest flora. There are 165 species of endemic flora of Assam, and 284 species of plants are critically endangered. Assam's biggest contribution to the world is tea. Assam produces some of the finest and most expensive teas in the world. The petroleum industry in India started at Digboi in Assam, and we have 4 refineries and significant petroleum as well as natural gas reserve. Assam today is home to a well-established petrochemicals industry. The industry today could be used to produce green plastic that are in huge demand in developed markets. The Singaporean ambassador has already shown interest in exploring the possibility of a technological collaboration to examine the possibility of collaboration in this regard. In the recent past, tourism has come up as a potential economic sector. Our state is bestowed with rich cultural and natural heritage. It is home to many diverse ethnic communities offering varied and rich tourism experience. Assam is home to some of the rarest wildlife species in the world, along with rich flora and fauna, which offer immense scope for wildlife tourism. There is a huge investment potential in developing tourism accommodation infrastructure near our national parks and wildlife sanctuary. The last green tree gardens that number around 850 beautiful heritage bungalows, 21 golf courses mostly located in the tea gardens also offer remarkable experience for tourists. Our government has decided to give a boost to tea tourism, and we have already taken steps to enhance the infrastructure facilities in these tea gardens. There is a huge potential for investors in developing existing golf courses of Assam. River tourism in Assam opens the avenue for other platforms of tourism circuit like pilgrimage, rural, wildlife, adventure, historical, cultural, tea, etc. The Brahmaputra has an immense potential to cover the circuit right from the gateway to northeast Guwahati. The Brahmaputra river can be highly associated with river tourism activities. Many tourism waterway circuits can be developed on this river to give the tourists not only the thrill of a cruise across one of the most powerful rivers of the world, but also experience the diverse experience of Assam has to offer. Our government vision is to develop Assam as a river cruise hub of Asia. In the recent visit by a team of World Bank, they have recommended Assam as an ideal destination for adventure tourism. Assam tourism has more than 100 functional properties. We are constantly improving our infrastructure. Apart from the traditional strength, recently we have diversified our attention to certain new areas. Our government has initiated a unique step to augment the medical sector in the state. We have joined hands with Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati, for the Assam Advanced Healthcare Innovative Institute to give a major fillip to transforming the healthcare scenario of the state. This collaboration is the first of its kind between an academic institute and state government for a research and innovation center. We have collaborated to establish a world-class connected multi-speciality hospital at IIT Guwahati campus, which will be an advanced healthcare innovation institute. This RIC is proposed to inculcate cutting-edge research in the diverse areas of healthcare and technology, which will include cardiac, renal, neonatal pediatric sciences, transplantation, epidemiology, antibiotic resistance, and infection control. The major force of research at this institute will be in the areas of therapeutic, diagnostic, prosthesis, implantation, robotic surgery, stimulation lab, bioinformatics, molecular biology, regenerative medicine, stem cell, public health, and data analysis, among others. This initiative will also create a single umbrella under which physicians, scientists, engineers, design personnel, and regulators will work together to invent and innovate technologies and cater the divergent needs of the people. Recently, Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji has inaugurated a distributed cancer care network in Assam, which we have started in collaboration with Tata Trust. In a move to upgrade technical institute covering all aspects of curriculum, training and equipment in consonance with the latest industry needs, our government has signed a memorandum of agreement with Tata Technologies Limited. Under this agreement, 34 polytechnic colleges and 43 industrial training institutes will be transformed into center of excellence to train and empower the youth in tune with the industry requirement. This endeavor aims at providing opportunity to 20,000 students every year to learn new technologies related to the fourth industrial revolution or Industry 4.0, which paved the way for rapid changes to technology, industry, and process in the 21st century. In view of the explosion of digital technology, our technical institutes should be empowered to start course of artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and industrial Internet of Things, smart manufacture and automation, 3D printing, electric vehicle, battery technology, etc. To strengthen industry-aligned and flexible skill education training system in the state, we have taken up for setting up the Northeast India's first skill university with funding from Asian Development Bank. This university is a major step towards reshaping all vocational skill efforts in the state by providing quality technical and vocational education and training. Moreover, in collaboration with the Institute of Technical Education, ITES Singapore, we have set up Northeast Skill Center at Guwahati to provide skill training at par with international center in the sector of retail, hospitality, and beauty and wellness. First batches at the institute started from 5th August 2019. I welcome the offer of High Commissioner of Singapore to strengthen our collaborative effort to the next level. Our government is also carrying out promotional activities such as training, skill gap, and infrastructure study, assessment tests for job aspirants in the state. We also envision creating a master database of all trained skilled workforce from all developments implementing skill training in the state, which will be available in one portal. Thanks to the blessings of Honorable Prime Minister and our External Affairs Minister, Sri Dr. S. Jaishankar, today the state of Assam amongst the top 3 states in the country in terms of attracting funding for externally aided projects. Significant investment by funding agencies in Assam is also a testimony to the immense potential that the state of Assam holds. Externally aided projects that aims to develop inland waterways, enhance road connectivity, and bring about institutional reforms in the state are paving the way for countries across Southeast Asia to invest in Assam, and the time is now. Considering the adverse environmental impact of fossil fuels, we are focusing towards renewable source of energy. Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi at United Nations Climate Change Conference in Glasgow has also underlined India's commitment of clean and green energy. So far as renewable energy investment and deployment opportunities are concerned, Assam has embarked on a journey with an aim to transit from meeting its energy requirement from conventional source of energy to clean energy in next 5 years. This opens up a new area of collaboration and investment opportunities between Assam and ASEAN countries. We are working to explore the potential of bamboo-based energy, which is also seen as a great source of biomass energy. Generation of power using municipal solid waste is another area that is also we are implementing with great enthusiasm. The construction of 4 bridges over river Brahmaputra in Guwahati will give a major boost to our connectivity, which is connectivity in Guwahati city, which is the gateway of the Northeast. As a result, we are expanding the city of Guwahati across the northern bank of Brahmaputra now. The new Guwahati projects will provide an opportunity to invest in building world-class infrastructure in the state. I'd like to once again thank High Commissioner of Singapore for offering the cooperation of Singapore in preparing a master plan for Guwahati city. I'll immediately will be in touch with Your Excellency. Just like many other parts of the world, civilization in Assam also flourishing along rivers. Assam is nurtured by one of the greatest rivers of the world, Brahmaputra. The Barak is the other important river. Both rivers, along with their many tributaries, have a huge potential for river transport, tourism, and industry. Today, under the dynamic leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi, the waterway sector of Assam finds a new impetus. To harness the potential of vast network of our river, the Government of India and the Bangladesh government have signed the port use agreement and use of cross-border inland waterways and across of the Chottogam and Mongla ports to the Northeast India. We are immensely grateful to the government of Bangladesh and our beloved Prime Minister of Bangladesh for this protocol. We'd also like to record our deep gratitude to the people of Bangladesh, because without their help, we would not have able to fight the militants in Assam. And I think that was the turning point in our history. Only recently, cargo vessel carrying the first consignment of food grains and steel from Patna and Haldia sailing through Indo-Bangladesh Protocol Road over river Ganga and Brahmaputra arrived at Pandu port in Guwahati. This was historic and the beginning of a new journey in the economic growth of the entire northeastern region. Recognizing the significance of river for connectivity and prosperity, the Government of India declared 20 rivers as national waterways in the northeast, and 15 of these 20 national waterways are in the state of Assam. Under the guidance of our Prime Minister, these waterways are now being developed by the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways through Inland Waterways Authority of India for domestic and EXIM trade that will provide a boost to growth of trade and commerce in the region. For increasing trade in the region, Government of India has also initiated the construction of multimodal logistic park at Jogighopa. Another multimodal logistic park is proposed at Silchar. Supplementing the central government initiative, our government is also taking steps to harness the extensive navigable waterways of the state. We have taken initiative to in the inland water transportation sector in large scale for infrastructure and institutional development to revitalize the trade route to boost the economy. Proper and judicious harnessing of this water resource to the optimum will surely contribute to our mutual growth. I therefore solicit your support and cooperation in realizing this potential as well. However, at the same time, I must mention that flood and erosion is a major challenge that the state is facing for the last 7 decades. The severity of flood and erosion problem in the Brahmaputra and Barak Valley is actually increased by excessive silt flowing with water in the tributaries of these two rivers. We need to address the problem in holistic manner. We solicit your technological guidance and support in addressing the flood and erosion problems of the state. We are aware that due to the active policy of the government of India, India's engagement with ASEAN countries and our other neighboring countries like Bangladesh and Bhutan has increased manifold. The NADI conclave gives us a remarkable opportunity to articulate a collective vision for our shared prosperity. I am sure that the deliberation at this conclave will promote coordination for revitalizing our river and connectivity to facilitate faster economic growth in the region. With these few words and thanking you all for once again visiting Assam, I conclude my speech. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma, for your opening address. We now have a special address from His Excellency, Mr. Vijayavat Isara Bhakti, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs, Kingdom of Thailand, who has sent us his video message. Can we play the video, please?
Namaste. Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to attend this inaugural session of the NADI 2022 on behalf of Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Don Paramatvinai. Thailand believes that this forum will not only facilitate a constructive dialogue among our partners in the Bay of Bengal, but also pave the way for stronger cooperation among the governments and other stakeholders through sharing of information and insights. At the outset, I would like to express my appreciation to the Asian Confluence, the Government of India, and all the staff concerned for their efforts made for organizing this important event. Water and oceans, in our case the Bay of Bengal, have always been a source of life and a key connecting factor of our peoples, leading to the spread of civilizations, commerce, and exchange of ideas. In the modern context, it is only through full and sustainable harnessing of rivers and oceans that we together can achieve long-term growth, equitable development, and shared prosperity for our Bay of Bengal region. In this context, it is important to always look at the Bay of Bengal as a region in its own right, a shared economic space with high growth potential, and most significantly, our shared strategic asset in which waterways and the ocean play a central role in our cooperation. Indeed, if we want to realize BIMSTEC as a region of peace, stability, growth, and sustainability, we have to address water-related issues in a comprehensive manner, from sustainable use of water in agriculture and commerce, water security in rapid urbanization, river and maritime transport and logistics, waterbound tourism, safe and secure navigation, hydropower and offshore energy exploitation on the one hand, all the way to emerging issues such as blue economy, blue carbon, and blue tax on the other. Rivers and oceans feature prominently in the priorities of Thailand's chairmanship of BIMSTEC, which will celebrate the 25th anniversary of its establishment in 9 days from now. With the intention to revitalize the economy and create inclusiveness in the BIMSTEC community, I would like to reiterate pro-BIMSTEC as the main concept of Thailand's chairmanship. This aims to drive BIMSTEC towards a prosperous, resilient, and open region and incorporate pro-BIMSTEC in every aspect of policy. Pro-BIMSTEC reflects Thailand's 4S strategy that aims to alleviate poverty, namely survive, safe, sufficient, and sustainable. I believe that pro-BIMSTEC will serve as a guiding principle for us to build back our community not only better, but also smarter and greener. Excellencies, allow me to take this opportunity to elaborate more about pro-BIMSTEC, P-R-O-BIMSTEC, as follows. The letter P stands for prosperous, which focuses on the economic aspect that aims to enhance post-COVID-19 economic recovery by restarting the economic cycle, developing a more sustainable and resilient economic system, and supporting business in connecting to global supply chains. In this connection, we must foster connectivity in all aspects, such as maritime and port connectivities in the Bay of Bengal, which would enable the regional supply chain to become more intensive and inclusive, revitalizing economic and business opportunities in the region. We will pay due attention to the development of linkages of maritime commercial hubs, inland river ports, and multimodal transport connectivity, so as to accelerate development along major rivers from coastal to inland areas. We also aim to conclude the negotiation on the BIMSTEC Coastal Shipping Agreement, which will enable linkages between communities along the coast of the Bay of Bengal to regional supply chains and thus their share of post-pandemic recovery. We are also open to discuss instruments and mechanisms that will enhance collective security in the Bay of Bengal. The letter R stands for resilient, which focuses on the socio-economic security aspect to ensure that BIMSTEC is prepared to deal with future challenges and crises. This also includes supporting policies of BIMSTEC member states in restoration, particularly in terms of food and public health security, establishing regulatory arrangements in time of crises in maritime logistics supply chains, as well as furthering cooperation in blue economy through the bio-circular and green economy model. The BCG model is a sustainable growth paradigm that promotes strength at the grassroots and addresses food and energy security challenges in the long term, while advancing economic growth and social development in a balanced manner. The BCG economy could build on BIMSTEC's rich biodiversity and natural resources to provide a pathway towards a more balanced and sustainable post-COVID-19 future, and promote efficient and sustainable use of water and preservation of waterways and related ecosystems, such as forests and swamp areas. Lastly, the letter O stands for open, which focuses on inclusivity and multi-stakeholder engagement by placing people at the heart of BIMSTEC collaboration. Thailand plans to establish the BIMSTEC Knowledge Platform to make BIMSTEC more accessible and available to all people, particularly the youth, and to increase awareness of the importance of BIMSTEC. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Bay of Bengal community originated from oceans and rivers, which form the basis of our lives in the region. The opportunities that we could derive from our shared waters are immense, but we need to be smart in reaping the benefits. To this end, Thailand's vision under Pro-BIMSTEC aims to create a Bay of Bengal community that is prosperous, resilient, and open, based on our shared ideas, values, culture, and mutual commitment to commerce, connectivity, and conversation within the Bay of Bengal community. It is therefore my sincere hope that Thailand's chairmanship would constructively contribute to the advancement and progress of our grouping towards a stronger and more resilient BIMSTEC. I wish this seminar every success. Thank you very much.
I now request His Excellency Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, to kindly deliver his special address.
Good morning. Honorable External Affairs Minister of India, His Excellency Dr. Joy Shankar, Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, His Excellency Dr. Hemanta Biswa Sharma, my colleagues, the Honorable Members of Parliament of Bangladesh, and so my colleagues in the Ministry, Ambassador of Cambodia to India, His Excellency Mr. Wong Shan, High Commissioner of Singapore to India, His Excellency Mr. Simon Wong, representative of ASEAN countries, advisor to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Thailand, Mrs. Pornipong Kanchalak, Chairman GC Asian Conference, Mr. MP Beza Barua, distinguished scholars and experts, excellencies, and ladies and gentlemen. And I see I have many compatriots from Bangladesh, and I'll be very happy if all the representatives of Bangladesh can stand for a minute, and let me see how many of them. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is a privilege for me to be here today amidst of this important gathering. At this August gathering, let me start with a story from my childhood. I come from Sylhet. It is a big Mazar Sharif known as Hazrat Shah Jalal's Dargah Sharif. It has big pots to cook food for thousands of worshippers. These pots are huge. When I was a kid, my mother told me that these pots came from the Mazar Sharif of Nizamuddin Auliya of Delhi. I was curious and asked her. There was no road system, no railway lines in 12th century. Then how come those arrived in Sylhet from Delhi? She said, through river roads. In fact, during the British Raj, people from Sylhet used to visit Calcutta through river roads. But now those roads are closed. I'd like to see those river roads get reopened for tourists and for cost-effective Marsadian transport and communication. Ladies and gentlemen, since time immemorial, river or Nadi have been the cradles of civilization. They connect land, people, ideas, and foster trade and commerce. I think Asian Conference, Ministry of External Affairs Government of India, State Government of Assam, Bangladesh Mission in Guwahati, Northeastern Council and Bangladesh Foundation for Regional Studies for being associated in arranging the third edition of NADI, a timely and commendable initiative. Assam vis-a-vis India occupies a very special place in my heart and memories. I often recall the memories of my staying in Guwahati for a short time in 1971 during a war of independence. Bangladesh and India are linked by history, culture, language, and shared sacrifice just as much as they are connected by shared waters, the fifth longest border in the world, and kinship. For the last 50 years, Bangladesh and India relations have been great. It is termed by Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi as Shunal Yodhai, or golden chapter, and truly so. Our rock-solid relationship is based on trust, mutual respect, our culture, history, and undergoing similar sacrifice and challenges together. We fought for our independence, and you supported us all the way. Even many of you sacrificed your blood for our victory in 1971. We are proud of you, and now we look forward to have more meaningful relationship for next 50 years. Esteemed participants, the South Asian and Southeast Asian region are endowed with ever-flowing perennial rivers and water bodies. Bangladesh and India share 54 joint rivers, and these rivers have shaped the history, politics, culture, and economy of the countries for centuries, for several centuries. No wonder that these rivers are considered holy and worshipped by many faiths living in this region. Rivers have sustained diverse ecosystems and provided livelihood for millions of people. If we talk about Bangladesh, it is known as the land of rivers, Nadimatrik Bangladesh. There are about 720 rivers, including tributaries, which have a total length of 24,140 kilometers, one of the largest in the world. Rivers are the basic lifelines of Bangladesh, and are accessible to the remotest areas of the country, whereas roads and railways do not have such accessibilities. In Bangladesh, rivers have huge impact on our tradition, culture, music, lifestyle, and livelihood. It also influences politics. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on the Golden Jubilee of Bangladesh and on the Golden Jubilee of friendship between Bangladesh and India, in the beautiful city of Guwahati, I pay my homage to those brave souls, both civilian and military, who sheltered us and fought alongside us during the glorious War of Liberation in 1971. On this occasion, and at a time when humans and the planet are at loggerheads with each other because of adverse changes in the climate caused by indiscretions of humans, I pay homage also to the rivers which made us who we are, our common mother. In fact, rivers as old as life on this planet, possibly older than most of the life forms at least. Rivers do not subscribe to the ideas of either nations or nation states. Rivers do not have borders. Rivers do not have nationalities. Rivers do not have religions. Rivers do not conform to our petty little ideas which we use to divide ourselves. Rivers are instead powerful entities which give birth to all things that make us humans and civilization. Rivers are power Devi, Adi Shakti, as has been construed by the core tenets of the civilization that we belong to here in the East. In both creation and destruction, rivers don't discriminate according to beliefs, faiths, nationalities, or even genders. It is not only that the people of Bangladesh and India are dependent on the river for sustaining lives and livelihoods. Rather, throughout the history of mankind, we have seen that civilization flourished and perished with the flow of navigable rivers. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, rivers were the lifelines of communication and the propagation of human habitations, ideas, ideologies, and seven core tenets of spirituality across this region. As I said, we have seen gigantic cooking pots carried from Delhi to Sylhet by rivers as early as the 12th century at the Dargah Sharifs of Sylhet. The exponents of Vajrayana, Acharya Atish Dipankar, traveled from Bikrampur in what is now near Dhaka in Bangladesh to as far as Tibet. Moroccan visitor, the explorer Ibn Battuta, landed in Sylhet to river roads. Empires from Delhi came to the east by the rivers, and by the same rivers, the sultanates of Bengal reached up to Delhi. As Mir Bahar notes in his book, the Mughal invasion of Bengal was fought back by 12 landlords known as Borobuyas, Hindus and Muslims together, by the use of armored elephants mounted on the river roads. I repeat, by the use of armored elephants mounted on the river bows. The Muslims of Dhaka and the minted coins of Bikrampur were found in the Roman and the Greek palaces, and they had traveled by the rivers till they reached the open seas. The folklores of Chad Saudagar, which originated in the north, travel as far as Odisha and possibly beyond, with the transcendence of the spice traders from the far corners of the Southeast Asian archipelago. From all practical reasons, Bengal was a major trading post for both the old Silk Roads and the rising European corporate powers colonizing the new worlds in the East. Bangladesh believes in a By the end of the 17th century, today's Kolkata was the point of export for cotton textile made in what is today Bangladesh. Down the Ganges, these cotton were shipped to Europe. Networks of rivers made this subcontinent a lucrative place for foreign trading firms, and even before the introduction of the railroads, the rivers gave a seamless trading route to everyone who wanted to do business or simply travel. Bangladesh and India have a long-standing protocol on transit and trade through inland waterways. Bangladesh has been giving inland water transit and transport facilities to India through Bangladesh territory for more than 5 decades now. The government of Sheikh Hasina is trying all that it can to recover the rivers lost to land filling and land grabbers. The rights of the rivers of Bangladesh have been upheld by the country's Supreme Court. The affiliate division of the Supreme Court of Bangladesh upheld in 2019 the decision of the High Court in writ petition, which declared that the Turak River and all other rivers in the country are living entities with rights as legal persons. With such a renewed and reinforced ideological and legal strength, we believe it is time to do more now. Excellencies, friends, Bangladesh believes in mutual friendship, trust and partnership, and development, and the strong bond that we share with India. We are conjoined since our birth, and the relations is embodied in the sanctum of human blood, shed for a common cause, freedom. Bangladesh hopes to be connected with India and to the rest of South Asia, and ultimately be a land bridge between South and Southeast Asia in a seamless network of rails, rivers, and other modes of transport. Given the strategic geopolitical location, Bangladesh can be a link to connect India, Myanmar, Thailand, Nepal, and other East and Southeast Asian countries, and the entire BIMSTEC region can be hub for the trade and business. In my mind, our cardinal axis would extend from Chittagong to Delhi by river. We would connect the primary growth centers of the Ganges and the Brahmaputra basins in a hub and spoke model, leveraging on the dimensional displacement which each hub could generate in a certain economic space. Once the Indian National Waterways 1 and National Waterways 2 were connected to the crisscrossing rivers of Bangladesh. Bangladesh believes in a two-way expansion of the existing protocols that we already have. I believe that the existing protocols on inland water transit and transport should be extended to connect the Indian national waterways to Bangladesh river system and connect the growth centers of Bangladesh and India, and then to Nepal and Bhutan, and both the factor and consumer markets on each side of the river. Connectivity must be point to point and not bound by national boundaries. I believe that through this platform, through the discussion, we can come up with innovative solutions and foundation of policies that would enable the nations to utilize the rivers to make the lives of human individuals on both sides of the river more meaningful and add to their livelihood options, provide environment-friendly and cost-effective mode of transport, and ensuring the development of mega infrastructure. I see magnificent possibility, peace, progress, prosperity in one goal. We only need to be a little more assertive in our vision for a shared future. Excellencies, friends, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest challenges that Bangladesh faces is maintaining inland waterways. The rivers are silted up, and during dry season, total length of the waterway reduces significantly. Highly expensive and technically challenging capital dredging makes inland waterpath maintenance too difficult. Even the damage from flooding is unimaginable, as the water holding capacity of the rivers has been significantly reduced because of siltation, to great extent caused by dams. A fully functioning network will allow a ship to pick up freight in Assam and sail south on the Brahmaputra River into Bangladesh. Bangladesh waterways may be utilized for the transportation and distribution of goods between Bangladesh, India, as well as between landlocked Nepal, Bhutan, and semi-landlocked territory of Northeast India. My dear friends and fellows, we do have some shared challenges between India and Bangladesh when it comes to climate change, environment, ecosystem, and biodiversity protection, seawater rise and saline water penetration, and last but not least, achieving environment and water-related sustainable development goals, that is SDGs. Through India and Bangladesh, we are separated by a physical border, yet our air, water, forest, and many other natural resources are shared. The SDG Goal 6 is about clean water and sanitation. Both India and Bangladesh have shared SDG goal of ensuring safe and affordable drinking water for all by 2030. This requires adequate investment in future-proof infrastructure to protect surface water sources, reduce excessive dependence on groundwater, to keep river water pollution-free or less polluted from sewage, polythene, and industrial waste, and microplastics. Through NADI, we can really work closely in protecting and restoring our essential water-related ecosystem. SDG 13 is about climate action, where we can work closely to the mass industrialization and tremendous per capita energy consumption of the first world countries hold responsibility for global warming and irreversible climate change consequences. We can co-work in the region to secure best practices to protect our people, water, forest, and environment. We can share a successful and potential use cases mutually. The SDG 15 is about life on land. Together, we can define urgent actions to reduce the loss of natural habitats and biodiversity, which are part of our common heritage. To meet global goals, we can really co-work locally. By protecting rivers and riverine biodiversity, we can achieve a little bit more climate resilience together. Together, we can work to keep rivers alive for orchestrating economic and environmental sustainability. This is time to integrate every single development project to connect with environmental flow, ecology, diversity, and water science. Esteemed participants, over the last couple of years, both India and Bangladesh are experiencing the same common patterns of unprecedented floods and cyclones. The cyclone Empen has caused tremendous I'm sorry. Empen has caused, what did I do? I lost my pages. Okay, I got it. Infrastructure and livestock in both countries. Climate change intensified both irregular rainfalls and droughts. The early and mid-season floods are causing economic, infrastructural, and agricultural disasters in both upper riparian and lower riparian areas. Only last week, both Assam and Bangladesh went through severe flash floods. In fact, the people of Bihar, Assam, West Bengal, Bangladesh unfortunately share the same fate from disaster of floods. So it is time to take flood management to the next level. We can together extend cooperation in processing weather satellite data and satellite image processing based flood management for the Himalayan areas. We can develop software and data science-based hydrological simulation models to set an efficient strategy for managing river dams and hydroelectric dams to drain excess rainwater into the Bay of Bengal much ahead of time. We can work on regional flood alarm centers too. In this way, through early warning system, we make a win-win situation to save people, livestock, and infrastructure from massive flooding and loss. It is time for us to replace competition with cooperation. Sometimes we fail to understand the rivers as one single entity traversing national boundaries. All the great riverine civilization manage the rivers in a holistic manner. Together, we will reach that stage. Ladies and gentlemen, now let me say a few words about Bangladesh and our bilateral relations with India in the context of connectivity and water sector cooperation. At the holistic juncture of completing 50 years of his bilateral ties under the visionary leadership of our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi, Bangladesh and India relationship is now passing its golden chapter. With regard to Bangladesh relations in Indian northeastern states, factors like geographical proximity, close cultural and historical ties, economic complementaries are hugely contributing to the ever-growing bond between Bangladesh and northeastern states of India. Bangladesh's robust engagement with Indian northeastern states are intertwined and have always been at the heart of overall Indo-Bangladesh relationship. It is widely accepted by all that there are huge prospects and potentials for promoting trade and investment and other economic activities for the mutual benefit of Bangladesh and the states of Northeast India. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to focus a bit on the exemplary economic achievement of Bangladesh and how this is contributing to the region. As you know, the rate of poverty in Bangladesh has reduced from 41.5% to 20.5%, and extreme poverty from 28% to 10.5%. Per capita income has tripled to more than US 2,800 in the last decade and so, under the dynamic leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Bangladesh is now one of the top 5 fastest growing economies in the world. Bangladesh ranks number 1 in South Asia in tackling COVID-19, as featured in the report published by a Japanese organization. Bangladesh is the biggest trading partner of India in South Asia. On the other hand, India is the second biggest global trading partner of Bangladesh. It is worth mentioning that economic growth of Bangladesh is largely contributing to the economy of the neighboring countries. India received the highest number of tourists from Bangladesh. Indian hospitals treat the highest number of Bangladeshi patients. Thousands of Indians are working in various sectors in Bangladesh, contributing to our service sector, and Bangladesh is the 4th remittance earning country for India. Rightly, Prime Minister Modi remarked during his recent visit to Dhaka, Bangladesh is a strong, I quote, Bangladesh is a strong example of development and change for the world, and India is Bangladesh Shohojatri, fellow traveler in these efforts. Bangladesh has been promoting the idea of regional connectivity and regional integration as the key to collective and inclusive development of the entire South Asian region. Taking advantage of unique geographical position in the region, Bangladesh is offering itself as a gateway to northeastern states of India. Banking on this strategic location, Bangladesh is also working to establish itself as the regional hub of connectivity, not just through roads, rails, waterways, and air linkage, but also for power transmission, transportation of natural gas, and telecommunications, etc. Bangladesh firmly believes in promoting regional integration to strengthening the existing mechanism like BBIN, India-Myanmar-Thailand Trilateral Highway, BIMSTEC, Master Plan for Transport Connectivity, SAFTA, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are aware that currently Bangladesh is hosting more than 1.1 million forcibly displaced Myanmar nationals in the Cox's Bazar of Bangladesh. I am talking about the massive influx of Myanmar nationals in Bangladesh who have been forcibly pushed out of their own country, and Bangladesh is providing them with food and shelter on the humanitarian grounds. They are temporarily sheltered in Bangladesh for the last 5 years, and they all wanted to go back to their motherland. Since repatriation has not been started yet, they are getting frustrated, and many are getting involved in criminal activities like drug trafficking, human trafficking, violence, and crimes. We are afraid that such may create pockets of extremism and radicalism, and such may lead uncertainty in the whole region. Therefore, the repatriation must be done quickly. I solicit your help and support. You will agree with me, as the Chief Minister has mentioned in his own speech, that since Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina took a bold step to end extremism, terrorism in this region, security and stability of this region has enhanced, and this helped in economic activities and development of the whole region, including Bangladesh and the neighboring countries of Bangladesh. So we should try to work together so that we can maintain stability and security of this region by repatriating these displaced people, these persecuted people from the soil of Bangladesh. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm indeed happy to be here today amongst you all and to talk about the blessings we have from the nature, our Nadi, our rivers, and the possible measures to protect and utilize for the benefit of our people and countries as well. I strongly believe, despite challenges, given goodwill and trust among the countries concerned, water can be successfully used as an effective means for enhancing ties in many ways. I expect positive outlook and political will and commitment from all the countries concerned. My dear friends, I might not live long to see it in person, but if we can work together in cooperation and in partnership and design a win-win river and water sharing method, then our and your future generation will be proud of us. Dear friends, the pandemic has shown the world that human race is very much interconnected and interdependent. One nation can't be doing well, leaving another behind or unprotected. We have to make the journey forward together. Before conclusion, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to you organizers for holding this magnificent event. Our lives are river-centric. By listening to the names of the rivers by which our people address these rivers very dearly, one would understand the place of rivers in our life. Along with our livelihood, our tales, our stories, our songs and music are connected with river. The Bengali psyche likes to give imaginative names to everything we touch. We prefer pure and unadulterated love and affection. We call the river Ganges, river Podda, that means lotus-like. We call main branch of the river Brahmaputra, Jamuna, in remembrance of Lord Sri Krishna. And we have river Moirabakhi, means eye of peacock. We have the rivers Madhumati, means sweet like honey, and Isamati means fulfillment of our desires. And in my own area, Sylhet, my hometown district, we call river Shurma the holiness of eyes, and river Kushiara, stream of happiness. In fact, rivers are entangled with every sphere of life. Rivers are us, and we are the rivers. 3/4 of our body is water, and 71% of our planet Earth is water. Rivers are life. Rivers are us. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu. May India-Bangladesh friendship live forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your address. May I now invite Dr. S. Jaishankar, Honorable Minister for External Affairs, Government of India, and request him to kindly deliver the inaugural address.
Our gracious host, Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, my Bangladeshi colleague, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, dignitaries on the podium, ambassadors, ministers, members of parliament, Shri Bez Baruaji, Chairman, Governing Council, Asian Confluence, colleagues past and present, dear friends. It is a great pleasure to be back in Guwahati for the NADI conference.
And I must congratulate the organizers, Asian Confluence, who, in partnership with the Government of Assam and the Policy Planning Division of the Ministry of External Affairs, have put together what promises to be a very focused and stimulating gathering. Conversations help to create change, and thoughts about confluences certainly encourage plans of cooperation. So there is a lot before all of you to ponder. Now, as many of the speakers have said before me, Nadi is life, and it is but natural that human civilizations all developed on the banks of rivers. And from those habitations arose commerce, which reflected the exchanges of goods and services between them. For that to happen, distances needed to be traversed as smoothly and securely as possible, and therein lay the importance of connectivity to history. It was the pathways that facilitated mobility and migration which determines its course. Who used them, who dominated them, who leveraged them, who blocked them. These have been the ups and downs of societies and nations over time. Nadi itself was often the connectivity. And today, as we gather alongside one of the great rivers that courses our land, how to connect peoples more effectively is an appropriate subject to discuss. The extent of success in doing so will determine our prosperity, and we carry forward our deliberations bearing in mind that connectivity, commerce, culture, and capacities are the core objectives of the Asian confluence. Better connectivity is central to improving the ease of doing business and the ease of living, both key priorities of the Modi government. When done with imagination and on scale, it can actually have repercussions far beyond the immediate issues of the day. So, with Guwahati as the location, let us consider the enormous promise that it holds, not just for the region and our neighbors, but even for the geographies beyond. To comprehend that fully, ponder for a moment on the impediments that we need to overcome. The most formidable and long-standing are the physical barriers of topography. But then, as we have increasingly come to realize, these can be solved by engineering and human ingenuity. There are then the human-made obstacles, the outcomes of choices that we ourselves have made in the past. These are best addressed by a vision that realizes the shared gains offered by regional cooperation. And when it comes to the process of connecting, then the broader our definition of that bonding, the more effective will be its impact. Connectivity may have started with roads and waterways, or as the minister said, river roads. But today, we also conceptualize it as power grids and data corridors, education and tourism, and as energy flows and cultural contacts. In fact, anything that connects is connectivity. Now, what happens when we are successful? And that is not a hypothetical question, because we can already see before us evidence of some progress. For a start, an India that is more connected to the Northeast and a Northeast that is more connected to India's neighbors will mean a complete transformation of the regional economy. Instead of being regarded as a frontier, it will emerge as a hub in itself. Its resources and skills will have a larger and more ready markets. The supply lines in and out will be shorter. The outlets to global access would be diverse and manifold. The intensity of economic activity will rapidly deepen
because it will capture many more segments. Bear in mind too that in the long history of the Indian subcontinent, its high points were periods when the East was the most prosperous. Today too, our national resurgence is directly connected to the economic revival of the East. The coming together, therefore, of the Act East and the Neighborhood First policies have an enormous reinforcing impact. And it is one that extends beyond the confines of South Asia. The realization of the potential of BIMSTEC is one example, and the Thai Vice Minister spoke about it, is one example that will change the Bay of Bengal. But think what happens if land connectivity through Myanmar and a sea connectivity through Bangladesh become viable. On a commercial scale, a world all the way to Vietnam and Philippines, from Haiphong to Hazira, and from Manila to Mundra, will open up, creating an east-west lateral with sweeping consequences for the continent. It would not only build on the partnerships that we have with the ASEAN and Japan, but would actually make a difference to the Indo-Pacific economic framework that is now in the making. It is definitely within our ability to overcome geography and rewrite near history, if only we can get the politics and the economics right. And as the Chief Minister pointed out, we can draw strength from far history in this regard. So let us see how this vision can be realized, can be achieved in real life on the ground. The starting point, I believe, is enhancing connectivity with Bangladesh, especially with the Northeast. The restoration of the 6 historical cross-border rail links, dormant since 1965, is one major step. Once operational, the Shahbazpur to Mahishashan link will be extended within Bangladesh and connected to the Kulwara-Shahbazpur rail line, currently being modernized using an Indian line of credit. Inaugurated in December 2020, the Chilahati-Haldibari line will further enhance Assam's connectivity to Bangladesh through New Jalpaiguri, including passenger traffic. A new rail link from Akhora to Agartala too is being developed under grant assistance. And we all know that this is already increasing trade between India and Bangladesh. Overland movement of goods is taking place using 28 notified land customs stations and 3 integrated checkpoints along the border. The Maitri Bridge over the river Feni connects Sabroom to Ramgarh and was opened by the Prime Ministers of the 2 countries in March of 2021. Negotiations are also underway to operationalize the BBIN motor vehicle agreement to ensure seamless vehicular movement. Inside Bangladesh, India is collaborating on a series of road projects, including improving the Ashuganj River Port, Akhora Land Port Road, under a line of credit of more than $400 million. The road project connecting Baruerhat to Ramgarh on the India-Bangladesh border, which will increase Tripura's road connectivity with Bangladesh, is also being implemented under another LOC of $80 million. The intricate and intertwined cross-border geography is being synergized by agreements of the movement of goods through from Indian ports through Chittagong and Mangla ports in Bangladesh, and from there overland to Tripura and other parts of the Northeast. The protocol on inland waterways transit and trade, which both the Chief Minister and the Foreign Minister spoke about, offers similar potential using 10 specific routes along shared and intersecting river systems. On February 5 this year, a cargo vessel, and again the Chief Minister I think mentioned that, carrying 200 metric tons of food grains sail from Patna in Bihar to Pandu in Assam using the inland waterways of India and Bangladesh. So remember, transit benefits not only the two ends, but the middle even more, as it would see an economic activity that could not be envisaged earlier. The success of 4 border huts between India and Bangladesh in the period before the pandemic has spurred enthusiasm. This encouraged us to set up 3 new huts in Meghalaya, inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi during his visit to Bangladesh in March 2021. 9 new huts are being set up, 3 in Meghalaya, 4 in Tripura, and 2 in Assam. Cross-border power transmission lines and digital connectivity infrastructure offer additional dimensions of connectivity. Today, 1,160 megawatts are already being supplied, and 1,500 megawatts more are in the pipeline from India to Bangladesh. The international gateway between Agartala and Cox's Bazar is helping provide faster internet access and broadband services in Tripura. We will be reviewing all these developments and more at the Joint Consultative Commission meeting with my Bangladesh counterpart in mid-June. The emerging collaborative regional economy includes Nepal and Bhutan as well. A 6-lane bridge across the river Mechi connects Panitanki in West Bengal to Kakarbhita in Nepal. It marks the passage of the Asian Highway 2 from India to Nepal. A road connecting Sikkim to eastern Nepal via the Chiva-Banjiang border is also under construction as part of India's Border Area Development Program. With its completion, Sikkim will have access to Nepal's east-west highway with a boost to trade and tourism in both countries. The game-changing potential is evident. Hydropower too offers great scope for cooperation. And this is relevant even more in an era of climate action. There is an established tradition in this regard between Bhutan and India, and a rapidly emerging one now between Nepal and India. From the northeast perspective, a hydropower station in West Kameng district of Arunachal has been supplying 150 megawatts of hydropower to Nepal. We are Nepal's largest trade partner and a significant supplier of petroleum products from facilities in Assam and West Bengal. A pipeline from Siliguri to Jhapa in Nepal is being explored, and with the launching of the RuPay card, Nepal is getting integrated with the Indian fintech and payment systems. Prime Minister's visit to Lumbini this month was the most recent occasion to take our cooperation with Nepal forward. Where India-Bhutan relations are concerned, its proximity and mutualism is best illustrated by the Manas forest, part of a spectacular biosphere that stretches from here in Assam to Bhutan. The border is also a hub for bilateral trade and through 10 land customs stations in Assam and Bengal. Specific benefits flow from local strengths and comparative advantages. Sikkim, for example, is collaborating with Bhutan towards achieving 100% organic status with the objective of boosting agri-production and organic trade. A pilot launch of Bhutanese products in big Indian retail outlets in Guwahati, Calcutta, and New Delhi is on the anvil. Meghalaya began exporting low-ash, non-coking coal to Bhutan in June 2021. A greenfield oxygen plant has been set up at the Motanga Industrial Estate in Bhutan with 49% FDI from Meghalaya Oxygen. Commissioned in October 2021, the plant has already started exporting liquid oxygen to Assam. Now, all these are practical illustrations of a future that, without exaggeration, is buzzing with promise. We are looking at the feasibility of creating a cross-border rail line between Bhutan and India running through Assam, or expanding the Buddhist circuit to connect cherished religious destinations in Bhutan and Nepal to those in Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. The development of infrastructure on the India-Myanmar border also serves multiple economic, people-to-people, and security imperatives. The ICP in More, just across Tamu, supports the movement of goods and people. The LCS at Zokotar is already operational. A proposal for the construction of ICP Tamu as a mirror facility for ICP More has also been approved. The Kaladan multimodal transport project is the most significant of those that we have undertaken in Myanmar. It is also one of the hardest, both because of topography and because of insurgency. The project includes a waterway component of 158 kilometers on the river Kaladan from Sitwe to Paletwa, and a road component of 109 kilometers from Paletwa to Zorimpu on the Indian-Myanmar border in Mizoram. Efforts are underway to make Sitwe port operational at the earliest. But let me be frank about where we are. We have genuinely struggled with this very complex enterprise, but are more determined than ever to spare no effort in getting it done. India is undertaking 2 projects as part of the India-Myanmar-Thailand trilateral highway, connecting More to Moesot in Thailand through Myanmar. Being implemented under a grant, these envisage upgrading 69 bridges in the Tamu Kalewa Kigon sector and 120-kilometer Kalewa Yargi sector. Separately, a bridge from Mizoram to Myanmar across the river Bainu will be built under a 2 million Government of India grant. Modernization of the existing Bailey Bridge that runs from the LCS Rikaudar in Myanmar to LCS Zokothar in Mizoram is also being considered. Border hearts with Myanmar are being built or operationalized at multiple locations in Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Mizoram, and Nagaland. Additionally, power and digital connectivity corridors from Manipur to Myanmar are already functional and proving to be immensely helpful to the communities on both sides of the border. All these are surely consequential. But just for a moment, step back and think bigger. What happens when the Northeast, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, and Myanmar get more deeply intertwined? Each of them stands to benefit from more access, opportunities, resources, and markets. These endeavors will literally bring the ASEAN closer to us. Given the prioritization of the Northeast by the Modi government, it is only obvious that we should work with our most trusted global partners. In 2017, we launched the India-Japan Act East Forum as a platform to bring together all stakeholders and coordinate planning and implementation of projects being undertaken with Japanese assistance. These cover projects in domains as diverse as road and highway connectivity, renewable energy, forest management, urban amenities, and strengthening healthcare systems. During Prime Minister Kishida's visit to India just this March for the annual summit, the 2 prime ministers launched an initiative for sustainable development of northeastern region of India as an overarching framework for enhancing cooperation in new areas such as healthcare, business-to-business ties, disaster management, and skill development. An important element of this initiative is a program for strengthening the bamboo value chain in the Northeast. It aims to develop the region as a center of innovation and design for bamboo-based products. Skill development to train and equip young talent from the Northeast for the Japanese market is another important thrust area. There is a proposal from the Nursing Council of India, for example, to introduce Japanese language courses in nursing colleges in the Northeast as also a proposal to bring Japan overseas cooperation volunteers to select institutions in this region. Proficiency in the Japanese language would enable skilled youth of this region to be deployed in Japan under the Technical Intern Training Program, or even to seek employment in Japan as specified skilled workers once the enabling mechanism is implemented. So my message to you today is that diplomacy is not just about bridging positions through wordsmithery. It is equally about bridging societies through projects. It is about connectivity, it is about contacts, it is about cooperation. I have today the privilege of both sharing some big picture thoughts on what regional cooperation has to offer, as well as detailing activities that make it possible. It is only fitting that I do so in Guwahati in the presence of the Chief Minister. The participation of my Bangladeshi counterpart only highlights the indispensable role of his nation as a partner in this regard. Equally relevant is the presence of ASEAN ambassadors with us. They too should, I hope, take away from this meeting a good sense of what all of this means to our future. And the presence of our Japanese colleagues brings out the catalytic role that our Quad partner can play. So once again, I thank you for providing me the opportunity to set all of this forth and wish you a productive conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inaugural address. On behalf of Bangladesh Foundation of Regional Studies, we have mementos for our special guests today. May I request Shri ASM Shamsul Arifin, Chairman of the Foundation, to kindly present the same to Dr. S. Jaishankar, Honorable Union Minister for External Affairs, Government of India. To Dr. Hemanta Biswa Sharma, Honorable Chief Minister of Assam. And I request Dr. Somen Bhartiya, Secretary General, Friends of Bangladesh, Assam Chapter, to felicitate Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, Bangladesh. And to propose the vote of thanks, I now invite Mr. Sabyasachi Datta, Executive Director, Asian Conference.
Honorable Minister of External Affairs, Dr. S. Jaishankar, Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Hemanta Biswa Sharma, Excellencies, Honorable Foreign Affairs Minister of Bangladesh, It is my honor to present a brief vote of thanks since we have gone in the time and we have other engagements. Honorable Minister Dr. Jaishankar, we hear you every platform across the globe. We follow you in the think tank community, your thoughts, and the way that you today put the big picture and how it descends into this region with projects. I think it's immensely beneficial to carry forward the narrative beyond what is happening. I think more and more people need to understand the benefits of connectivity, and connectivity not just physical, but just making the connections. So thank you so much for taking the time to come to Guwahati and deliver the inaugural address. It would not have been possible without the support, the guidance of Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, to put together this program. Thank you, Honorable Chief Minister, for your guidance, for your support, for putting this NADI 3.0 together. NADI 3.0 started today. This is the third edition. It started off as a journey several years back in Shillong, and throughout this journey, Bangladesh has been our partner. And from day one, Bangladesh, our partners in Bangladesh have been part of it. And the fact that today the Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh is here with us, we are so honored, sir, that you have been with us in this journey. And we continue to pray for your partnership in this process. As India and Bangladesh, Northeast and Bangladesh together, I think, is the core of what we can achieve together in this wider region. As we celebrate 50 years of relations between India and Bangladesh, I think this is an opportune moment in India's 75th year. And also on the 30 years of ASEAN-India relationship, the fact that today we have the presence of the ASEAN ambassadors from all the countries is such an important connection for us to bridge this Ganga to Mekong, Ganga, Brahmaputra, Mekong, as the Thai foreign minister once said at a Delhi dialogue many years back. It's the land of the 7 rivers, Ganga to the Mekong. Thank you so much, Excellencies. We also celebrate a few days later, I think, the 25th year of BIMSTEC. We are really happy that the Bay of Bengal narrative is being taken forward from here. And I thank the honorable delegates from Bangladesh, from all the BIMSTEC countries, and the BIMSTEC Secretary General himself is here. This August gathering could not have also taken place without the collaboration of the Act East Department of the Government of Assam. It is probably one of the only governments which has an Act East Department, Act East Policy Affairs Department, and we really thank the collaboration with the Department of the Government of Assam. On that note, may I just take this opportunity to mention that together with our co-partners, the Ministry of External Affairs, Dr. Sumit Seth, who is here with heading the PPNR division, the Assam government, the Northeastern Council, the Bangladesh Foundation for Regional Studies, IUCN has been a partner, the Natural Contiguity. We run a program with IUCN. We have a program, they are collaborating as knowledge partners. I have a big delegation here. We have the Asia Foundation and the Guwahati University Center for Southeast Asian Studies, and many other supporters for this program. And we thank you all. Thanks to the media, thanks to the unflinching support of the staff, and the big support of, nonetheless, the last but not the least, our governing council members and our team at the Asian Confluence for having this to a great start, the NADI 2022. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Before we disperse, we request you for 3 very quick group photographs. One group photograph with all the dignitaries on stage present here. The second will be with all ASEAN ambassadors and high commissioners. And the third will be with the NADI team, governing council members and the office bearers. Within 2 minutes, we should finish each group photograph. Thank you. Now we will have a group photograph. One group photograph with everybody standing. I request the ASEAN ambassadors and high commissioners to kindly come on the stage. Thank you very much. I now request the NADI team, the governing council members and the office bearers of Asian Confluence to kindly come on stage. And the last group photograph with the Bangladesh team. Your Excellency, the last group photograph with the Bangladesh team. Thank you. Next, we're starting without any break. No. Sabya ko bolte hain. अगला announce करेंगे. बहुत delay हो गया. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, an announcement for you. Since we are running out of time, we will not take a short break. Tea is outside. Whenever you want, you can always go out and have tea. We will continue with our next session, the plenary session 1 of NADI. In just 2 minutes from now, we will continue with our next session.